What's up guys, Braden here with SuperATV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's rear bumper on this Polaris RZR XP, so let's get right to it. So the first thing you're going to do is remove both wheels and tires from both sides. We've already done this, so we're going to jump down here to our lower radius arm on the mounting to the bearing carrier. You're going to have an 18mm nut and an 18mm bolt. Go ahead and remove the hardware from this side. Once you have the nut removed, grab a hold of the rotor, pick straight up, and slide the bolt back. Remove the radius arm and then just let it hang. We're going to go to the opposite side and repeat the same steps. Now we're going to remove our lower radius arm hardware. Once you have it loose, what I like to do is take my hand, slide it down the frame rail and grab a hold of the hardware and loosen it. Otherwise, you can drop that nut underneath the transmission, and it can be a little bit of a pain to get to. So once you have the nut off, just go ahead and pull the bolt off. As long as you leave your upper radius arm hardware tight, the radius arm will stay exactly where it needs to be. Now we're going to grab our lower section of our bumper and grab the factory hardware, line it up with the holes in the radius arm. You can take the bolt and kind of get it started through the hole in the bumper mount first. That does make it just a little bit easier to get it lined up. Slide it all the way through, just like so. We'll grab our other bolt. Do the same thing. Both the bolts all the way through, then we're going to start our nuts on the back side. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our factory nut and reinstall it. I like to take an 18mm socket with an extension, slide it on my bolt so I can spin the bolt as I hold the nut. Just again, be sure you do not drop the nut down underneath the transmission. So all I'm doing right here is I'm holding the nut on the threads and then just taking my socket and spinning it until I get it good and started. And we do just want to leave these hand tight. We don't want to fully tighten them yet. We still want our bumper to move a little bit. It's going to make it easier to get the upper section installed. Now we're going to grab our bracket as well as a bolt and a nut out of the kit. We want to make sure that the slot that is going up and down is the one that's attaching to the frame here. So we'll line it up, slide our bolt through, reach around to the back side, start our nut, and we're just going to hand tighten these. We're going to leave them loose for now. Go to the opposite side and repeat the same steps. Now we're going to grab a bolt out of the kit. We're going to take our bumper, line up this threaded bung with the notch on our bracket, thread this in through it for both sides and leave everything loose still. We're just going to repeat the same steps over here on the opposite side. Again, just hand start everything. This is easier if you have somebody to kind of help you hold it, but you can absolutely do it by yourself. Now we're going to grab our clamp out of the kit, go ahead and separate it. And you're just going to lift your bumper up to line it up with the lower section. Just like so. Take your clamp, and then we're just going to tighten these in an X pattern. I like to make sure that the orientation of these is both the same from side to side just so it looks good but as long as you get these clamped down good, they're gonna function as they're designed. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten down our threaded bolt that goes into our bung. Just like so. I'm not going to crank it down just quite yet. I want to get it tightened down on the frame section first, but tighten this on both sides before you tighten this bolt. Fully tighten the nut. Tighten these bolts again. Now we're going to reconnect our radius arm to our bearing carrier here. Go ahead and start your nut. Do that for the opposite side as well. Here's a little helpful tip for you all. I always like to make sure that my hardware is running this way. So I always like to make sure that the nut is on the outside. If you ever have an issue on the trail, you can remove this nut, slide the bolt back a little bit, and pop the radius arm out without having to remove your caliper or anything. So that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's rear bumper on this Polaris RZR XP. Be sure to check the description below to pick yours up today, and while you're there, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.